Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. My name is Nicole Syverson, and this week we're gonna talk about confidence. I love this topic. It's so foundational and such a core trait to work on, and I just love it. So let's get started, let's talk about it. So what is confidence? By definition, confidence is a state of feeling certain about something, or it's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities. My definition of confidence is kind of a mix between courage and contentment, so I'll tell you. So my definition is that confidence is your ability to pursue growth and challenges while also experiencing fear and still have the contentment of self no matter what the outcome is of whatever you're pursuing. So this is your ability to have the courage and contentment, so doing things even though you're feeling fear, doing it anyway, and having that self-love, that self-contentment no matter what the outcome is. So let's dive a little bit deeper. We're going to look at reasons that we lack confidence, and then we're going to look at how to build confidence. And also another thing I love is the movie with Will Smith is called The Pursuit of Happiness. And to me, this embodies and encompasses someone who has everything in the world, odds against them, but their ability to have the tenacity, the courage, and the faith in themselves and something bigger to be able to pursue happiness anyway. So if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It's fantastic. So let's look at some reasons why we lack confidence. I've got 4 listed here. I'm sure there's more, so let's just stick with 4 for now. So the first is when we are constantly comparing ourselves to others. You will never feel confident in your body, in your skin, in your life if you are constantly comparing yourself to other people. This can be physically, this can be financially, this can be relationships, this can look so many different ways. But if you know that you compare, if you constantly compare what you have compared to others, you are stripping yourself of all the joy that is you and your unique self. So stop it. So the second is you don't feel good or great in your own skin. So if you have health problems or have something happening emotionally, there's a big trauma or grief happening in your life, you're not going to feel confident. And finding resources to help you with this is huge, but that is one of the main reasons we don't feel confident is whether we're overweight or have health issues or different things, we don't feel good in our own skin. Sometimes even having acne or maybe hair loss, there can be so many things. The third reason we lack confidence is we do things that we hate instead of things that we love. So I know I'm guilty of this in some ways, of taking jobs just to pay bills or so I can travel, taking jobs that I don't love to pay the bills. And this can also look like sticking with a job forever because you're too afraid to move on or don't know how to move into something different. It can look really different in a lot of different ways. This can also be hanging out with friends that we no longer jive with, and we don't necessarily love hanging out with them, but we don't have the time or maybe the confidence to go out and meet new people. So that can look a lot of different ways as well, as doing things that we hate and we're just not into, and that chips away at our confidence as well. And the fourth is that this takes a little bit more work, or maybe a little bit more work, is as a child you grew up in a home that didn't nurture and help you build your own confidence. So if you grew up in a family where there was drug or alcohol addiction, or maybe you had a parent that's a narcissist, or I think now it's being called an energy vampire is a big word and a concept that's going around right now. But if you grew up in a home where you and your unique identity wasn't nurtured and built up and appreciated for you separate from your parent, that starts at an early age and is a lot harder as an adult to feel really confident when you had that lacking as a child. So know that if that's your case, it's something you can absolutely heal and work with, and it is a practice, but I can speak from personal experience that if you do the work, you will have amazing results. So with that being said, let's look at different ways to build confidence. So the first is to align your life with your highest values and goals that you have for yourself. So again, if you're working at a job that you hate and that's not your highest value or where you want to be, it's gonna decrease your energy, you're gonna feel like crap, you're never gonna wanna do anything because you're doing things that you hate. So start to align your free time, where you spend your energy, where you work, the people you surround yourself with in your close relationships. Align that with your highest values, the things you love to do, the things that time gets lost when you're doing these things, and the goals that you have for yourself to help you build your confidence. And the more you start to do that, the better you're gonna feel, and the more confident you're gonna feel in making more decisions to align yourself to your highest values and goals. The second is to take care of your body. And this includes taking care of your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. So if you aren't feeling good physically, mentally, emotionally, it's gonna be really hard, or a lot harder, to feel really confident in the things that you're doing. So make sure to get enough rest, eat really healthy foods, and if you have trauma or grief or big things happening in your life, seek out therapists or coaches or mentors who can help you process and grieve and help you move that energy that might be getting stuck. And the third way to build confidence is to do things that you love even if you're afraid to do it. So this is really a lot easier to do than people think. You just have to do it. So an example for me, I have always been terrified to public speak, completely terrified. And I teach yoga, and for the longest time, still to this day, I get nervous every class, even a little bit. Usually some days are way better than others. But it took years of practicing and getting feedback from other teachers and just straight up practicing as much as I could to start building the confidence, and not in an arrogant way by any means, but building the confidence to go in and feel like I even had a slight clue of what I was doing, but also to put myself out there as a teacher and let go of whether or not people like the class or if they like me, and offering from a place of love and the knowledge that I do have, and being able to share that. So going after the things that you love, even if you're afraid. Usually our fear is our body's way, if you're not physically in danger. Fear is your body's ability to let you know that something bigger is calling you. So that fear is kind of like this tickle of being like, oh my God, I really want that. Or that's something that I know that I want to do, but I'm so terrified and I don't know how it's going to happen. And then your brain can start working on how to make it happen. So allow yourself to identify, the difference between whether you're in fear because you're actually in physical, like you could die. That's a totally different thing that we're talking about. But if you have fear of something that seems too big for you, that's a really great inkling that it might be something you really should be pursuing. So take a look at that. And the fourth way to build confidence is, like we talked about in ways that we lack it, if you had a lot of trauma or didn't have healthy parenting as a child, the fourth way to build confidence is to work with a therapist or a coach or mentor or someone who specializes in healing trauma, healing grief, and for family therapy, or even there are different therapists out there that specialize in people who grew up with narcissist parents or parents of drug and alcohol addiction. Super important, and know that your love and the fact that you matter has nothing to do with how you were raised, and you deserve that feeling of knowing you matter and your confidence and your ability to shine and go after the things that you want to create, irregardless of what happened to you as a child or even a young adult or even as an adult. So those are my how-tos. If you have any questions, comments, or want to add anything, feel free to add any comments below. I'd love to hear anything that came up for you. Reach out to me at any time if you want more information on this as well. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week.